A Study in Scarlet, 1887. Episode 4, The Second Murder and the Mysterious Caller. Welcome back, Detective. When we last met, you learned Holmes's scientific methods and discovered that a second victim, Joseph Stangerson, had been murdered. The killer is accelerating his deadly schedule. Now you're about to meet someone who holds the key to everything. Picture this. It's evening at 221B Baker Street. The gas lamps flicker as Holmes paces restlessly, his sharp profile cutting through the amber light. Watson sits reading the paper, but keeps glancing nervously at his flatmate. "Holmes, you've been at this for hours," Watson observes. "That advertisement about the ring, do you really think it will work?" Holmes stops pacing abruptly. "Think, Watson. Our killer has been meticulous, careful, systematic. But that ring represents his one mistake. Someone important enough that he risked returning to the crime scene. What do you think, Detective? Would you have placed that advertisement, or would you worry it might alert the killer?" Suddenly, Mrs. Hudson's voice echoes from downstairs. "Mr. Holmes, there's a lady here about the ring." Holmes and Watson exchange glances. "Showtime," Holmes whispers. Watson, detective friend, observe everything. Her clothing, her bearing, her speech patterns, even how she enters the room. Every detail matters. A woman in her early 30s enters, dressed in dark traveling clothes with a thick veil covering her face. But notice something curious. Despite her attempt to remain anonymous, her posture suggests refinement, education. Her boots are expensive, well made. "I've come about the ring," she says in a soft American accent. "The one mentioned in your advertisement." Holmes studies her intently. "Indeed, and you believe this ring belongs to you?" It belonged to someone dear to me, someone who's now gone." What do you notice about her voice, Detective? There's trembling there, but is it grief or fear? Perhaps both. Holmes produces the ring. The woman's breath catches, and for a moment her composure cracks entirely. "Yes, that's Sarah's ring. Where did you find it?" "Ah," Holmes says softly. "So it belonged to Sarah. And what was your relationship to Sarah?" The woman hesitates. You can see she's debating how much to reveal. She was my friend. My dear friend." But Holmes has noticed something else. "Your sleeve, madam. You've been writing recently. There's a small ink stain, and your fingers show evidence of recent travel. You've come from quite far, haven't you?" Do you think Holmes is being too direct, Detective? What would you ask this mysterious woman? "I arrived from America 3 days ago," she admits. "I came looking for Sarah. She disappeared, and I've been searching everywhere. When I saw your advertisement..." Holmes leans forward. "I'm afraid I have some distressing news. This ring was found at the scene of a murder." The woman gasps and sways. Watson quickly helps her to a chair. Through her veil, you can see tears beginning to flow. "Tell me," Holmes continues gently, "was Sarah involved with a man named Drebber?" The reaction is immediate and intense. The woman's entire body stiffens with what appears to be pure hatred. "That monster," she whispers. "He destroyed everything. Everything beautiful and good in this world he corrupted. Now we're getting somewhere. What do you think happened between Sarah, this woman, and Drebber? What kind of relationship could inspire such intense hatred?" "There was another man," Holmes prompts. "Joseph Stangerson. Did you know him as well?" "Drebber's shadow," she spits. "Wherever that devil went, Stangerson followed. They were both equally responsible for..." She stops abruptly, realizing she's revealed too much. Holmes's voice becomes hypnotically gentle. "Responsible for what happened to Sarah?" The woman breaks down completely. "She was so young, so innocent. We lived in Salt Lake City, you see. The Mormon settlement, Drebber and Stangerson. They had power there, influence. They took whatever they wanted, and no one could stop them. What picture is forming in your mind, Detective? What kind of power would these men have held in a religious settlement?" Through her sobs, the woman continues. "Sarah was forced into marriage. Forced. She was barely 18. And when someone tried to help her escape..." "Someone?" Holmes probes carefully. "A good man. A brave man who loved her truly. But they killed him, Mr. Holmes. Shot him down like a dog and blamed it on Indian raiders." The pieces are starting to fit together, aren't they, Detective? A forced marriage, a murdered lover, two powerful men abusing their authority in a religious community. And Sarah? Watson asks gently. She couldn't live with what they'd done. The shame, the guilt, the loss. She took her own life rather than remain with that monster Drebber. Holmes nods slowly. And the good man who tried to save her, did he have any family? Anyone who might seek justice for these wrongs? The woman looks directly at Holmes, and even through her veil you can see fierce determination. He had a friend, a man who swore an oath over Sarah's grave that neither Drebber nor Stangerson would ever see another peaceful day. Do you see the pattern now, Detective? This isn't random violence. It's methodical revenge, planned over years. This friend, Holmes continues, would he be tall, German-speaking, someone with knowledge of poisons? The woman stands abruptly. I've said too much. I should never have come here. Wait, Holmes calls. You haven't told us your name. She pauses at the door. It doesn't matter now. Justice will be done, with or without Scotland Yard's help. After she leaves, Watson stares at Holmes. My God, do you realize what she's telling us? We're not hunting a common murderer. We're tracking someone who believes he's an instrument of divine justice. Holmes picks up the ring again, studying it in the lamplight. Precisely, Watson. Which makes him infinitely more dangerous. A man seeking mere profit might be reasoned with, but someone pursuing righteous vengeance? What would you do now, Detective? How do you catch a killer who believes himself to be serving justice? Holmes suddenly snaps his fingers. Of course. The cab. She arrived in a cab, and cabs in London are numbered. Mrs. Hudson will have noticed. He calls downstairs. Mrs. Hudson, the lady who just left, did you happen to see her cab? Number 2704, Mr. Holmes. Odd-looking driver, very tall with a grizzled beard. Holmes grabs his coat. Watson, detective friend, the game reaches its climax. That wasn't just any cab driver. That was our killer himself. As you rush into the foggy London night, one question burns in your mind. Are you the hunters, or have you just become the hunted? Next episode, the final confrontation with a man who has waited 20 years for revenge.